All right, you ignorant pigs, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. It's time for Angry Tabletop Nerds Night at the Movies. This night's offering from Beyond the Pit is Smile, 2022, starring Sosie Bacon, Kyle Gallner, directed by Parker Finn, and also written by Parker Finn, based on the short story or movie Laura Hasn't Slept. Our setup is very simple in the fact that we've seen this setting before in 100 different horror movies, the most famous of which of movies taking place inside an insane asylum or psychiatric ward at a hospital, probably Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. That takes place wholly within the hospital for the most part. You got a bunch of kids trapped in the hospital. They can't leave. Lawrence Fishburne, the orderly, isn't going to let them out. And then you also have Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, which basically takes place within the confines of a psychiatric ward, except for you get to leave to go into the lament configuration to see what hell looks like for various individuals. And a couple of problems with this is, once you're in there, you need to not stay. We don't want to follow around Cat Mom on her adventures through life, basically. You want a tight, claustrophobic environment where there is no way out. And this story also takes place in New Jersey. So I guess that's an inevitable hell on earth as well. So we're going to kind of get into this. Very early into the movie, we meet our co-star, and her name is Caitlin Stacy, sorry. And she plays Laura Weaver. Laura Weaver is the patient who saw the demon the one time after her teacher killed himself with a claw hammer. And she's talking to Sosie Bacon's character, Dr. Rose Cotton, about how she's not insane. And they're having a discourse. And then basically one thing leads to another, and your co-star, Caitlin Stacy, decides to kill herself with a pottery shard. Now, I think that this is a waste because you're throwing away your co-star, basically, right within the first 10 minutes, okay? And that's kind of like a no-no. And then the next 40 minutes of this film is you're just basically following a 30-something-year-old career woman around who doesn't really have any good marriage prospects. They went to the trouble of giving her a black boyfriend for some reason. And the dude's even lamer than I am, and I sit in a basement and paint miniatures all day. Or I go to the kickboxing gym. This guy is lame. I mean, he didn't even need to be there. His character was so frickin' lame. And this is why you never leave. You can hint to the fact that maybe she talked to this guy on the phone, but following around wine mom or 30-something-year-old career mom is like watching an episode of Ally McBeal. Her ex-boyfriend is also a cop, so I guess that's something within the first 40 minutes of this movie. So after 40 minutes of following around career woman Ally McBeal, you come to a place where she's seeking help. She goes into a more senior therapist that she talked to as a kid about her mom's death, untimely passing, or suicide. And she doesn't seem too sympathetic either. And she's like, I don't know. You tell me. What do you think it is? This is the problem with head shrinks. Most of the time, it's just bullshit at the end of the day. And then you have the dead cat in a birthday gift scene where she gives that to her nephew. And because her cat went missing partway through the movie, you don't know what happened to the cat. And there it is, clear as day, inside of the kid's birthday present. And this autistic kid spurgs out a little bit. She's not insane. Then she falls through a table. Then she tries to confide in her lame black boyfriend about the manifestations of the spirit that might be haunting her is what she then does. He doesn't seem to give a shit. He's like, oh, I need to know what kind of crazy I'm about to bet the rest of my life on. It's the most lame liberal white guy excuse you'll ever see. The guy's completely useless as a character. You need at least one manifestation within the first 30 minutes of this demon. Or you trade that out for not leaving the asylum. Okay, so you're either going to do a monster movie or you're going to do a psychological thriller that's somewhat claustrophobic and you can't get out of the mental asylum and it's just you and the patient. Only problem is you killed your co-star very early in the movie. The one sympathetic thing about Rose is that she has no one to confide in. This does make her a sympathetic character. Lame black boyfriend, not worth a shit. Sister, not worth a shit. Senior therapist, not worth a shit. Luckily, her ex-boyfriend seems to give a shit about her as he finds a survivor and did some investigating and some digging around, and he looked for the connections as he is a detective. All right, she sits down with a guy named Mr. Tally, who then goes on to tell her that there's a way to transfer the curse. You have to kill someone and somebody has to see you kill that person so that the curse will get transferred to them. I'm more a fan of low maintenance curses that only require you to copy a videotape once and then you're done. And then you force your son to copy the videotape and then he's done. And then you move on. Everything is resolved and you figured out the riddle or whatever. But you get a jump scare at about 1 hour and 24 minutes into this movie. And this is where you hear the demons speak. It's almost time, Rose. And you cut to a quiet house in the suburbs and they pan out. This is a false ending, but it would have worked. It would have worked, and the movie could have gone to credits right there using that atrocious song, Lollipop, which didn't make a lick of sense. But the movie keeps going. Okay, it then decides that you have to go to her abandoned childhood home to seek out the beginning or root of this trauma, that it's either tied in or it isn't. Again, Parker Finn isn't making the best decisions here as a director. She's either going to be completely traumatized or somewhat traumatized. There is no in between. Just so it's like, my mom killed myself, but I got over it. A little trauma. Or I'm still carrying the baggage from this. And this is why I'm seeing the demon. He doesn't seem to make too much of a distinction there. Again, he ties it back into the suicide because this is where the suicide happened. As she goes into the house, she waits a little bit before searching around with the lantern. Then she encounters her mom. It turns into the smile monster. And then after a struggle snuggle session of trying to get away from the demon, she hits it with the lantern and turns it into a crispy critter. And then again, this was another false ending because she hadn't even entered the house yet. So Rose is still just sitting there in her car. So the movie, the short film, Laura Hasn't Slept in 2022, does the story the way I would have done it. You would have had a more physical manifestation of the demon sooner. You would have been trapped inside the mental institution with no way out as the demon feeds on the fear or the trauma that it's causing to the other patients as it manifests in and out of incorporeal form. And it's up to Laura Weaver and Rose Cotton to try to find a way to not get killed by the demon. And that would have been a way better journey, and you could have told the whole story in 90 minutes. Instead, this guy's got you on the hook for 2 hours flat almost. 1 hour, 55 minutes is the runtime. Then you have the actual ending where it just basically ends in fire again. So let's get to those totals real quick here. We have 7 kills, 1 death by pottery shard, 1 smashed face, 2 cut wrists, and a mangled corpse in a photograph, 1 suicide by hedge clippers, 1 lantern to the face of a demon causing it to burn into a crispy critter, 1 self-immolation, 2 jump scares, gratuitous vertical camera angles that don't make any sense. The number of times this movie made my leg hair stand up, twice. I guess that's something. And then 1 dead cat packaged as a birthday gift, multiple stabbings, 3 false endings. Slayer Pit Awards go to Susie Bacon for Best Actress. Can you guys just shut the fuck up? And then Ray Parker Finn for Best Writer. This isn't the worst story I've ever seen. Angry Tabletop Nerd gives this movie 2 skulls. It's worth the rental on a Friday night, but it's not worth purchasing to go into your digital library. Anyway, this movie kind of reminds me of a different flick called The Wolf of Snow Hollow. It's a monster flick, but it's not really a monster flick. And then we're going to decide that it was just a guy in the suit at the end end of the movie, and you basically had a monster flick that could have been really great, but it's not a monster flick. This is a psychological thriller that could have had a fantastic movie monster, but you didn't really decide to have a movie monster. You could have had some kind of shadowy figure inside of a hospital, feeding off of the fear of the criminally insane or the brutally insane inside of this clinic where Rose works. But you didn't decide to go down that route. So you have to make a clear-cut decision. Are you going to go into the crazy asylum, and then this shadowy figure is going to take the lives of the patients, the orderlies, one at a time for 90 minutes, or you're going to follow around Wine Mom? And that's kind of the beef with this movie, is that Parker Finn didn't want to make a decision. So that's about it for Smile 2022. I want to thank Fox, the patron who sent me this donation on PayPal to do the video. You too can get in touch with me on Instagram if you want me to review a different movie. So anyway, that's about it for me. What did you think of Smile 2022? Put your thoughts in the comments section below. I will answer you both on YouTube and Rumble. I want to thank my patron for sending in a PayPal donation for me to do this movie review. You too can call on me to do movie reviews. It's something that I actually enjoy doing, is taking apart movies. And then if you want to shoot the shit a little further past the comments section, you can hit me up on Instagram. Instagram DMs are the best way to get in touch with me. I do answer them as often as I can, and I'm starting to get a lot of them now, so that's kind of cool. So in case I don't see you, keep playing games, keep watching horror movies, and stay metal, my friends, and we'll see you in the next review.
Even you, puppy dog. Hey, you need to grow a sack!